How would you all like to save tens, hundreds, thousands of dollars with just one item? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Blue painter's tape, especially for those of you that are getting into tumblers, it will save you money. Rick the Huge, welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about my biggest friend and least expensive, blue painter's tape. Now you can get that anywhere. You can get it at Wally World, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever they sell painter supply stuff. This was designed to do edging for borders. So laser engravers said, hey, hold my laser. And we started implementing it into testing stuff. And I'm going to show you all the steps that you should go through, not taking my word for it, because the one thing about CO2 lasers is they're all different. They tend to have different things going on with them, different powers, different speeds, and what works for me may not work for y'all. So this is where the testing portion of it is. Today I'm going to be testing, putting it on a flat media piece of wood, and then I'm going to be doing it on a tumbler and showing that it will not pass through on the tumbler when you find out what speed and what power actually works for y'all. Now, to give you kind of a preface as to how this came about, I was engraving tumblers. I just got my new laser and everything, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be awesome. Throw on a graphic, do this, figure out my power. I've got my book, it says I can do it at this power. And yeah, it went to crap. I had an oblong shape on there. It was a round logo, and I'm trying to correct things, and as I'm correcting things, shrinking it down, either going horizontal or vertical, and it was like, what gives? But I was burning through tumblers like it was nobody's business. I think I got through about 10 to 20 tumblers before someone on my Facebook group said, hey, have you been using blue painter's tape? And I'm like, wait, what? Blue painter's tape? Why would I use that? They said, take it down to the lowest setting, and he told me his setting was about 11%, 12%, somewhere in that time frame. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I went to Lowe's, bought me a roll of blue painter's tape, started doing it. Now this one is a 2-inch. They do have like the 1-inch and what have you. It all depends on what you're wanting to do. So what I did was I went and bought it. Sure enough, 11% with the old tube worked perfectly for me. So I was like, bet. So I started shrinking it down, getting it down to the size that I needed it to be. And it was like, hey, this is pretty dang cool. So I'm gonna help y'all along in y'all's laser engraving journey. Now, I use Lightburn. I've used it for at least 4 years. Awesome software. They don't pay me to say that. I'm basically just using the basic information. I haven't even touched 5-10% of what the power capability is on that device or on that software. So we're going to take it over to the laser. I'm going to show you the testing, and then I'm going to put it on a tumbler, and then I'm going to test it that way. Make sure that nothing passes through. Now, it may require multiple strips of this blue painter's tape, but to get your round shape into shape, that's what it's going to take, and it will save you money. and you could do it for everything that you do. Now, I also use the blue painter's tape as a mask for whenever I cut into wood and I do different things, and I'll put a video showing what I did on the barrel head that I had done, that I did for a local distillery. But check these out, and I'll see you here in a moment. And right now what we're doing is we're going to do our test analog, find out where everything is. As you can tell, I tried before, failed, because I didn't do a setting right. And that's something that you need to make sure of whenever you're doing any type of testing, is making sure you're doing the same thing that you would normally be doing.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams into modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million.
Analog is where I'm going to be showing stuff, and I'm going to do the test on here of my circle and then make adjustments. I'm going to go ahead and keep it at the 1.5 inch that I did earlier for conservation's sake. I may adjust where the placement is, no big whoop. But I'm going to be doing this on my rotary, my Rotoboss rotary, and we will see how that goes. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it as a 2.5 inch because of the simple fact that's about the usual size that I do. I don't do like 1.5 or what have you for circles, but I want you all to see what the entire procedure is going to be like. So we're going to get into that right now. Alright. Always remember to focus in on whatever you're testing. Now, I'm not worried about the wrinkles that you see there. All I'm doing is I am just checking to see how the shape is. Nothing more, nothing less. I did a frame on there and it should be within a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, all you have to do really is shrink or increase by about 1/8 inch based on your experience and the graphic that you're using. As you can see, it's coming out pretty white. sometimes you can see that whether it's going to become this shape though, usually around the halfway mark. If y'all have any questions about stuff like this, just put it in the comments down below. Sometimes these videos are like watching paint dry, and I get that, but all instructional type of things will be like that. We're coming up to the end, we got a couple more seconds. Almost looks like a moon. Alright, we're about a little less than 2.5 on the vertical. In all actuality, this came out pretty dang close. I would call that a 2.5-inch circle. So we don't have to make any adjustments on this. So, arguably, not a bad deal. Now, could I have chosen one of my other graphics? Yes, but due to copyright laws and what have you, and my NDAs, I don't do that. But, this right here, I would call that a success. But, and as I pull it up, did not even pass through the second layer, didn't even touch it. So 12% is my go-to with this new tube, and I honestly have not tested it. I'll show this to y'all in a better light. And as you can see, nothing there. Nothing down here. Nothing actually scored it. Didn't even brush the surface on it. And as we pull off the second tape, and I will do kind of a 360. You can see the evidence of paint lines right here, but yeah, or excuse me, markers tape. But yeah, that worked out real well. So as you can see, it worked out real well for us. You know, there's no marks on this thing, none whatsoever. This was the bottom of the tape. This is that bottom strip. And you can see that that's white. And then this was what was towards the top. And you could distinctly see where the actual line was right there. So arguably, I am not mad about it. This was the one instance where the software worked for us. But me personally, every time that I do a round logo, I go ahead and I do up a test on there. Doesn't cost anything except a couple of inches of tape and some time. My biggest takeaway from this, and if you have something that comes out egg-shaped, egg-long, or oblong, oval, unless it's supposed to be oval, is to go ahead and do a test before you burn into these tumblers. This couple of cents right here, this will save you tens, if not hundreds of dollars worth of aggravation. And that should be the biggest takeaway of this. A few cents saving money, I'll do it anytime. The only thing I wish I had known before was that I would have known that.